Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Liluy nishmas imi mirosi rusvas Mordechai. Welcome back, Reb Nachman Seltzer, all the way from Deal, New Jersey. Mashgiach. How many book signings did you do? No, did you get new books? We don't talk about that. The money, the shtusim. We're talking about the learning, the torah. Yeah, of course. I know. I was people learn the every morning, the learning over there. It's crazy. Yoni Mirzel's in the house. Shalom Aleichem. How are you, Penny? You made Aliyah? Yes. Oh. What's with you? Beautiful. You get double schar. Yisroel Levi. This is from a koilo younger man in Brooklyn, New York. Dear Belly, last week my koilo asked if I could make a siyum knowing I'm part of MDY. They knew the answer would be yes. We also purchased a car recently. You see that? Rabbi Yossi's here. Rabbi Isai, big news. Shalom Aleichem. How are you? Da'ilam Shino. Yossi is our official new COO. He is going to take MDY to the next level. After doing the charity event on his own, on the Shabbaton on his own, the tablet project on his own, I asked him if he's masking to take on MDY and bring it to the next level, bring everybody. We have a lot of people doing a lot of things, but nobody's leading anyone. So Yeshiva Shematzav, and I figured, what? Just ask. No, but he's for free. He doesn't take money. Trying to save money over here. Listen, we have to handle characters like you also. And he could do it. He could handle it. So, Be'ezer Hashem, we're looking forward to a great start and a new beginning for MDY Be'emes. Where all the different parts, the puzzle, the American pieces and the Israeli, we have people in America doing one thing. We have there's different. We found out that Yosef Biliak is sending out an email list to this, and in America they're sending out their own email. But kids, we need more organization. Be'ezer Hashem, Yossi Klein, I feel, is going to bring MDY to the next level, and we're looking forward. So Yishkoyach, and this is the second time he flew out just for this cause, and on his own dime. It doesn't take money from MDY. Dear Belly, last week my koil asked if I can make a siyum, knowing I'm part of MDY. They knew the answer would be yes. We also purchased a car recently, just like one has to put up mezuzahs on his doorpost. I felt it was a chiyuv to get an MDY license plate. That's a good one. MDY Yomi. As you can see, by the way, if you own this car in Eretz Yisrael, you are a multi-millionaire. In a Toyota Sienna, it's 425,000 shekels. How much is that in dollars? 425 shekel, which is 100. You could be driving a Rolls Royce in America for the price. It's $115,000 here in Eretz Yisrael. But every younger man in Koilel has a brand new one of these. As you can see in the attached photo, thanks for all you do. And he says like this is a Koilel guy. The Daf definitely changed my life. From your Koilel guy, Yisroel Levi, Brooklyn, New York, since Masechtas Rosh Hashanah. And here he is, Yisroel Levi, Yeshur Koyach. Dear Belly, thank you very much for your amazing shir and for making it lively and enjoyable. I've always dreamed of finishing Shas, but never was able to pursue that dream until I found your shir. I don't always have the yishuv adas to pay attention to every word or idea. I don't even look inside the Gemara, but I know that I'm still one step closer to fulfilling my dream of being able to sit down and learn a Daf Yomi like a mensch. I wanted to make a little ha'ara. You always say you have a terrible memory, which is not at all true. This surprises me, considering your self-awareness and your healthy, maybe too healthy self-esteem. You may not remember yesterday's daf because of an overload of information, but countless times in Shir Yikro, memories from 34, 35, 45 years ago Story is a different story. I'm talking about Gemara. Considering how sensitive you are about keeping emails anonymous, I figure I may as well say my name, Ahron Fraiman, your Talmud since somewhere towards the end of Ksubis. Shkoyach. Yumi Shoner from Lakewood. Thank you for all you do. Hi, Rebelli. Thank you for all you do for MDY. I've been with your share since mid-Kiddushin and haven't missed a day since. Anyways, I would like to respond to your story the other day about the guy who only does Iyun and plays 4 hours of golf and says it's not a waste of time. I said, the guy said he'll golf 4 hours a day, but Daf Yomi is bittul torah. I'm an addicted golfer, and together with my father-in-law, we do chazara of the daf when we're waiting for the groups in front of us. So yes, you can play 4 hours of golf and still get in some learning and not waste so much time. Thanks again for all your hard work. It's very good. Guy is utilizing his time properly. He's addicted. Okay, he's addicted. Listen, you gotta play golf if you're addicted. But even though you're addicted, in between those hits, in between those puffs, you gotta learn a little torah. In between those shots, you gotta learn a little torah. Whatever your addiction is, in between. All the best, Yumi Shoner, Lakewood, New Jersey. Chesky Brown. After finishing the last cycle, I figured I would learn something else, but after seeing all the marketing for MDY and hearing your story, I was inspired to start the daf again by Sukkah. Stayed on for a year or two. Not a big deal. It's 1 year or 2 years. I don't remember exactly the amount. But then stopped. After seeing the video by Ari Chaimowitz, I was re-inspired. And being a few days before Bava Basra, I decided to join again. So here's another guy that joined because of Ari Chaimowitz. And wow, the new videos and slides are amazing. Yeah, it's a big step up from what we had in Sukkah to what we have today. I'm loving doing the daf with you, so thank you for keeping inspired klal Yisroel. By the way, my brother Chaim was in your original share of 8 people when you started in RBS, Chesky Brown. Chaim Brown? I don't recall either. There's a lot of people that saying that they're from that first. We have pictures. If you're not in the picture, you're not in the picture. I don't remember this name, but Chaim, you gotta, talk to me before you tell Chesky that you were part of the thing. I'll cover for you. The Masechta for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Bishlam, you say you're there since brachas. Okay, there's nothing I can't. He
was embarrassed. He gave you a false name.
Oh, maybe it's that guy that came. Parnas Chodesh, Moe Landy, Liluy, nishmas Moshe ben Shmuel Yehuda, the Mashgiach of torah vodaas. Parnas Chodesh, Ahron Fraiman, lezchut to rebel if it continues to have the dishmaya and teaching torah the klal yisroel. Thank you. Parnas Chodesh, shleima, neftali, הערץ, ben העניא, a hidden tzaddik in our generation. Parnas Chodesh, nishmas זכריה ben nishmas Yosef. And one Parnas Hayoim, lezchut, zivug hagon, bekarov. So our Golda Bas Rivka, I want to wish a tremendous mazel tov to my very good friend, Reb Sruli Bornstein. I'm not going to say exactly what the mazel tov is, because who knows, people come from all over America. A mazel tov, tremendous mazel tov.
Just say it already, what?
His son is getting married tonight. Simcha Lichter, Liluy nishmas Reb Chaim Tzvi ben Reb Moshe Gershon Goldzweig. Oh. Rabbi Goldzweig, it's very close to him. He actually gave us the hechsher when I was the caterer. He was our official hechsher from Chicago on a 60-yard side. Rabbi Goldzweig had a shul. Wow, this is yours, Yossi? Okay. It says Yossi, whatever that means. Okay, Rabbi Yossi have a moirdik daf. We're going with the theme of Bava Basra, Gishmak, easy. These questions come up a lot, especially if you live here in Eretz Yisrael. Welcome, Penny. I'm gonna introduce you before it even happens. I'll let you know what to expect. So this happens in America a lot also. When I lived in Brooklyn, there was a pizza shop on Avenue J, and 3 stores down another pizza shop. Mutter, not mutter. Hasogas Gvul, not Hasogas Gvul. Okay.
As if you live there or not.
Oh, right here. Now, another thing that happens in Eretz Yisrael, they like to go around with speakers on top of the cars. Are you allowed to do that at 2 o'clock in the morning and let people know? Chayv Misa, he says. One of my neighbors, you're all welcome to check this out. You go in front of my building. he decided that he had enough of the pigeons. So he buys a big speaker and puts it in the back of his building. And every 5 minutes, it puts out a sound of an eagle attacking pigeons. He claims that it works. It also works for us. We can't sleep. So finally, we convinced him that through the night, it's not a good idea to do. That he's masking. But from 7 o'clock in the morning till, 7 o'clock at night, every 5 minutes, you go by a very high pitch. People went over to him, asked him, begged. He says, but I have pigeons. What should I do? I said, but you're disturbing us. It worked so well, so he bought another one for the front of the building. So now you can go, you just walked in?
Yeah, we're a little late, sorry.
Who's that? Is that Ben? What's his name? Ben, get over here, Ben. What is this, Hanochas Tefillin?
Thursday, Mr.
Get over here. Did they call you Bibi?
No.
Ben Blau?
They should.
They should, huh? It's a good one. Shalom Aleichem. Ben Blau, what are you doing here?
Hanochas
Hanochas Tefillin, beautiful. I love your father. He's a geschmacky guy. Here, let's smile for him. We have plenty of time. Come on. We're not going to do this after. No, come on. Hello.
It's not focus. It's out of focus.
Okay, we got it over here. Look. You ready? Look over there. Smile. Givaldik. Okay. Shkoyach, thanks for coming. So, is that a problem? Could somebody tell him to stop it? You ever hear that noise? You know what the noise is. Some people think it's real birds. No, it's coming out of the speakers. You're welcome to come to my building, stand there for a few minutes. The stories like this all day long. A guy has a broken air conditioner. The fan is hitting the metal. Could you tell him to stop? It's all night long. Mice is like this all day. People, a guy here, 1 block over, put a makolet, but not just a makolet. Then he took over the whole mirpeset. And then he's onto the street. He has a freezer. People are coming in and out of the building day and night. Stop him, not stop him. These are things that happen here in our neighborhood. Yoimam v'layla. People love to build a sukkah. It says, Matzah Yom Kippur, you got to build a sukkah. Sometimes 3 in the morning, you hear boom, drilling. It says in halacha, Matzah, you got to give him time in malacha. You got to give him time in malacha. You know what I'm saying? So these are all things that we got to talk about. And more. There's a very exciting daf today. How much should you hit your kid with what kind of stick, with what kind of belt? These are shilas. Says the Mishnah. Chanus shebechotzer. So let's see what a chotzer is. Rabbi said we got to see this. Very, very simple. In those days, they had a chotzer. The houses, the doors of the houses lead up into the chotzer, into a yard. And all these yards will lead into a street called a mavoi. It's a private street. And that street, the mavoi with the end of it was that koir on top, that wood, that would lead into the main street. Can you open up a store? You see it says chanus over there on top. The guy opens up a store in his thing. We had in our building. A lady decided to be a sheitel macher. She rented from one of the neighbors. All the neighbors went crazy. Yeah, but you bring people into the building. We're not a commercial building. What about parking at the end? Do a mevater, a whole thing. So, but that's nothing. Some people have, they manufacture wine and who knows what. Okay. Says the Mishnah, Chanusha b'chaser, yachal limchas b'yad. You could stop him. V'loy meloi, eini yachal lishon. Mikol ha'nechnasim, mikol ha'yotzim. Over here in the ratio of the Mishnah, it says you could stop him. You're ruining my sleep. I want to sleep even in the afternoon. I can't. It's too many people. But then the Mishnah says, Aval oisa kelim, you yourself can manufacture some sort of whatever kli in your house. And then you're not going to sell it in the chotzer because that will bring a lot. But the manufacturing process happens in my house. I bang away. I use machinery. And for that, the neighbor cannot say stop. And he can't say, hey, you're disturbing my sleep. You know what happens? I was also when we did renovation, they come with jackhammers, and it's really annoying. Because people do it to us, and we hear it on the across the street. You hear everything. It's not like in America. You live in a house, the guy does construction. No, over here, when a guy uses a jackhammer, the whole building hears it. It really goes through the cement into your ears. You can't sleep. You can't do anything for months straight. So Memela, these are all shilos. But you can't, if it's in your house, the guy can't do anything about it. You have a mill in your house, I can't stop you. And you have children coming in and out of your house, can't stop it. All right? I don't know that we're going to get to any halacha l'maisa, maybe we will, but at least we have some idea of where to look, where to start. As the Gemara, Maishna Seif, how come in the beginning of the Mishnah it says I could stop people from coming in and out of the chutzner, you cannot make a store? At the end of the Mishnah it says, there's a bunch of kids coming in and out, you brought kids in there, you're bringing the whole neighborhood, you're selling cotton candy, I don't know why the kids are coming, you're allowed to, you can't stop them. Why can't you stop the Seifa, but you could stop in the Reisha? Says Omar Abaye Seifa son l'chotzar acheres. So, if, let's say in this picture right here, there's a chutzar on the right, there's a chutzar on the left. I that live on the right, I can't stop you on the left. The guys on the left don't care, so that's their issue. But I don't live in your chutzar. I can't tell you what to do in your chutzar. I live in a different chutzar. I'm on the right. So just say straight out, forget tinoikos, what you're making kelim, just say a different halacha. The Mishnah is saying, you could stop a guy from your chutzner, but you cannot stop a guy from another chutzner. It'll be a lot clearer. Elo Marov, I'll tell you what the pshat is. And this is a beautiful sugya, brings us into the sugya of chinuch, and this happens to be 20 days into Bava Basra. I'm always nispal. I mean, it feels like literally yesterday. We just had a siyum yesterday, and we're 20 daf in. That's how it goes. Because if you do something every day, just one little daf, and it adds up quickly. What we're talking about is a cheder. A guy opened up a classroom for children that you cannot stop. I can make a classroom for kids anywhere I want, in any mavi, in any chater. Why? This is a special takana. We didn't have this before, but Yeshua ben Gamla, who Taisa says was a tzaddik gomer, who married Marta Bas Spaisos. We had Marta Bas Spaisos during the Churban. She sent her slave to buy, I don't remember what it was, chita, let's say. White flour. He comes back, it's not available. So go get the next thing. He goes, that's not available. Kids kept on going back and forth. She had a crazy amount of money. So she marries, as an almana, she marries Yeshua ben Gamla, who's a tzaddik gomer. She wanted her husband to be a kohen gadol. He was a kohen. So she paid Yanai. So Taisa says, even though he's a tzaddik gomer, what they did was wrong. Now, how could a kohen gadol marry an almana? Because the kiddushin, he was already mekadesher, and then he became a kohen gadol after the kiddushin. But Taisa says it was the wrong thing to do because there were greater people. He was great. He was a tzaddik gomer, but there's a tzaddik gomer level 1, there's a level 2, and they shouldn't have bought the kuna. Akopanim, he instituted as a tzaddik gomer. He instituted a thing. Now what? Baram. The truth is, we have to remember Yeshua ben Gamla. He saved klal Yisrael. Yeshua ben Gamla Shemai. Shilmalayhu, without him, Torah would have been forgotten from klal Yisrael. Shebitchila, mishesh loyav melamdi Torah. Only children that had fathers would learn Torah. A father would teach his son, and that's it. No Rebbe, nothing. Father teaches his son. My darush, they took the pasuk literally. It says in Shema that you're supposed to teach your child. So you teach your child. You don't send him to cheder, and if you don't have a child, that's it. If you don't have a father, you don't learn Torah. And they learned the pasuk Oisam Aleph Taf Mem V'limatem Atem. You should teach him. That's it. Nobody else. So initially there was a takana. There should be a cheder in Yerushalayim, not in Bnei Brak, only in Yerushalayim. My darush, from Yerushalayim the Torah should go out. It says Taisves when a child sees tremendous kedusha and he sees the kohanim doing the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, it's a sgula, so to speak, not a red band, a sgula of seeing somebody, seeing kedusha, seeing more kedusha, seeing. I remember this, and I just stopped now. When I was a kid, my father used to take me to, first when I was a very young child, to the Rivnitzer Rebbe, but then later on, what I remember more was Reb Don Segal. He used to tell me, he was a Mashgiach then in the mirror, in Flatbush. He said, when we go there, just stare at his face. Look at his face. Look at the kedusha that comes out of his face. That's what he used to say. Just remember to look at his face. You see Koyahanim doing avodah. You see Gedusha Gdoila. So then Mechaven Liba Yosef Yerushalayim, then it brings Yerushalayim to the child, the Liluy Torah, and then he opens up his heart to learn more Torah. And he says, I mentioned it when we were learning about Meiser Sheni, that's the point of Meiser Sheni. That you go to Yerushalayim. Why Meiser Sheni? It's a thing that you go to Yerushalayim, you force, because you have 10% of all your produce that you have to eat in Yerushalayim. Once you're in Yerushalayim, you see all the Gedusha, and it opens up your heart to Yerushalayim and Torah. And I forgot what it said, I just said it back then, that then there's less amaratzos in klal Yisrael, because more people are going to the source of Torah in Yerushalayim, so through the Meiser Sheni, you get to learn a lot of halachas and you bring it back home. And still, if you have a father, you would go up, your father would travel with you, bring you up to Yerushalayim, to the cheder. And if you don't have a father, Nebuch, be am Haaretz, stay am Haaretz. Hiskinu, shiu moishivim b'chol pelech upelech umachnisen oisan. So they made a takana that in every province, umachnisen oisan kiven tes zayin kiven yud zayin. 16-year-old, 17-year-olds will come to learn. What is the problem with the 16-year-old starting to learn? What is the problem? The problem is umisho yerabi koyes I love. If the Rebbe got upset with this Talmud. The Talmud, since he didn't have any education with authority beforehand, he didn't realize what a Rebbe is, the discipline, he started off when he was already an older kid. So if the Rebbe upset him, he turned around, kicked the Rebbe in the face, and walked out. There's a lot of chutzpah going on. So his chiddush is that you do it every city. But the chiddush is 6 and 7 year olds, depending on how strong they are, if they're healthy, 6-year-old starts. Got to train them young. Before I forget, because I forgot to say it yesterday, R Moshe Feinstein said all the time, that you're mechuyev to teach other people Torah. You, each and every one of us. We have a chiyuv to teach other people Torah 10% of your day. It's meiser. Everybody says yes, but we don't do it. You do it. But not everybody does it. You do it. The chaver here, what? Bring somebody to daf. I don't know if you're yotza. Probably, maybe. Those are the easy ways out. To take 10% of your time. 10%, like Mendy Arbach, goes to yeshiva, teaches Bachrim every single morning. It's hard. So, the question is, he says, without Yeshua ben Gamla, Torah would have been forgotten. Why would Torah be forgotten? How many Yisraelim are there? I don't know how the percentages in those days. 5%? How many percent? So 95% of klal Yisrael, the fathers bring them to the cheder, the fathers teach them, everything is good. So the 5%. So there's a few pshatim here. The pshat that I liked is that when one child doesn't learn Torah, it's as if klal Yisrael forgot Torah. We have to care. No child left behind. Every single child, every single human being. That's why we're so into getting another. That's why Yosef invented the whole thing of giving out. It's his invention. Giving out a Gemara. Why? To bring another guy to Torah. We shouldn't leave anybody. All these people in shul that come, the from, so to speak, the payas, the whole thing, but they don't learn. Nobody's left behind. So that's why I'll tell you. I mean, people are asking me, and I have no idea what's going to happen. Baruch will, if it happens or it doesn't happen. But when two people in the same day said, and the people just mentioned, and a guy, this bacher that's sitting right over here, came to me a few times after. He says, "Listen, I'm not going to do well in another yeshiva. I need you to open up MDY." That's what he told me. The last thing I want to do is open up a yeshiva right now. That's the last thing on my mind. I think I have enough on my plate with the 2 shiurim and everything else to open up a yeshiva. But maybe, I'm just saying, to save another bacher, another struggling American English-speaking bacher in Ramat Bet Shemesh. There's so many of them.
You got a new COO.
Huh?
You got a new COO, it's fun.
Mazir. Yeah. I didn't tell him about it yet. Lat. Ease him in. No, don't worry. You have nothing to do with this. You just stop. Concentrate on the daf. Don't worry about this. It's $1 million a year. What's the big deal? We'll do 2 charity things. Anyway, we go weiter.
I'll be a rebbe in your yeshiva.
I have a very, very, very serious process. I already have 20 people in line to be rebbeim. You take money, by the way? You're free? If you're free, we'll talk. No, I'm just kidding. That's another thing. Yeah. First, I have rebbeim. I just don't have talmidim yet. Everything is good. All right. Anyways, hopefully I don't have to open up. Somebody else will open it up. Omar lei Rav l'Rav Shmuel bar Shelas. So this is very interesting. Let's see if anybody remembers. Do you remember who is Rav Shmuel bar Shelas? Rav Shmuel bar Shelas. We had him in this Masechta. Anybody remember Rav Shmuel bar Shelas?
Yeah.
Oh,
Haman's grandson, or great.
very good.
He went out into the garden.
How do you remember that? Dr. Epstein. First, I like the way you said it, Haman.
Haman.
But what's with the Haman? Once I'm talking to you about this stuff, why don't you tell me when is class? There's no class. There's a shear. All right, Dr. Epstein, but it's unbelievable. I'll tell you that last night, the guys, it took them a few minutes, and one guy said the guy from the garden. But you said it both. Shmuel ben Shelas with this great Mibnei Banav Shel Haman Shalom the Torah Bnei Brak here, Dr. Epstein. And he's the one that Rav said, what are you doing in the garden? What do you do? You have to tell me them. He says, I haven't taken a vacation in 13 years. You caught me. First time you caught me, but you should know, I'm still thinking about my Talmidim. Okay? So that's the Shmuel bar Shelas. Wow. Very nice. Very impressed. That's my neighbor. Achis, he lives two floors below me.
Not the one with. He's got the pigeon.
Huh?
Not the one with the pigeon.
No, not the one with the pigeons. Do you hear that noise all the time?
All the time.
Did you ever speak to him about it? You know better. Okay. Achis loite kabel. Makam veilach kabil.
He's a maven in
What? Yeah, he's a rebbe. Zok v'shmuel b'shelas. Achis loite kabel. Don't deal with the little kids. Makam veilach kabel. Take the 6-year-olds. V'asvilev k'torah. And you have to stuff them feed them like a bull. Here we even have a shtickle picture. Oh, hold on, we'll get there. So I thought this is very nice. No, because the Gemara. It's look closely, look closely. I'll show you why. You see what he's doing? He's pushing the Gemara. So I thought it was he didn't tell me to do this, but I saw this. What does this look like? This looks like AI, right? It's an AI picture, right? So here, this is the original. This is what AI gave him. It took over an hour to get from this to this. Look closely. Look at his mouth. Look at his payas. Payas are fake. Look at his tie and his shirt. Oops. His pants are black. The tzitzis. The Gemara letters on top of every page in the kids. The yarmulkes the kids are wearing. It takes a very long time to go from AI to here, but in a chanami. So it goes like this. So I have to say this. I'm going to stop here and say, I said this a few times. Got to say it again. We learned this Gemara once, this idea, and I used, to translate it, because I speak Yiddish, I used the word of stuffing, I used it in Yiddish, and did not come out very well. On the spot, I realized it turned colors, the whole thing. A guy, a big chacham, took that clip and put it on a reel, and over and over and over, and he sent it out. So I thought, that's it, Shir is over. This is Meshuggah Magid Shir, says such things in the middle of Shir. And then a guy comes here, maybe, I don't remember how long ago, over a year ago. He says, you should know, I'm a therapist, and I brought over 100 people to the Shir. And I only came to the Shir because I saw that clip. Remember that clip? I said, do I remember that clip? Yeah, Yishkoyach. He says, that's why I came. I was intrigued, and I came to the Shir. I said, but you didn't bring 100. 100 is a Lashon Guzman, like 400 in the Gemara. He says, no, I'm nishba. I could be nishba on a sefer torah that I brought more than 100 people to the Shir. Part of my therapy is I do a certain thing. He didn't want to tell me what. They have to watch your Shir. If they watch it, and then they don't come back to me. That's what they do. So, okay, Givaldik. That's story number one. Story number two is Mark Ashkenazi. The whole story, he made me go to doctors. He said, if you make me go to doctors, I'll go to doctors, but you have to bring me $10,000 for the charity event because these doctors are costing me. It's no problem. So anyways, he brought me to one of his friends, and the friend gave us $36,000. How you doing, Mark? I'm not going to say his name here. He gave us $36,000. And during the conversation, the guy says, "You know why I came to your shir? I saw that clip." Sometimes when you think it's a bad thing, it's bad publicity, at the end of the day, it brought over 100 people this year, minimum, plus $36,000. Okay, we go back there. What?
You don't want to say it again?
I don't think it's, no. It's when it happened b'shoigig. I'm not, it's not appropriate. Next. Vormalei.
You say 6 years old when the mission says ben Chamish Lamikra.
Chamish Mikra is one thing, but we'll see here, there's issues about going to school. But also no, but look here, there's issues of going to school and staying in school. Let's see. Vormalei Rav Shmuel bar Shelas. Listen to this is going to turn everybody upside down. Kimachas liyanuka, when you give a kid a whack, don't hit him. Only use a shoelace. Do it lightly. So first of all, before we go into what's going on here, first we'll do a little litzanas. This is Yoshi's Chinuch Quarterly. Reberish, a master mechanech, shares his Chinuch secrets. And here's the kid shaking like a leaf. And then he gets a whack on the head, because he learned the sugya. He doesn't know. And now he has a shoelace. Okay. So, without going into hashkafa, there's a very strong hashkafa that goes on in our days. A lot of us went to Cheder. I know Mendy and the guys from South Africa, the Rebbe had a cane. And there's a cane, and you used to get whacked over the back, and you by the back. Okay, whatever. And the head. My Rebbe, one of my Rebbeim, had a stick, and he would hit us so hard, you had a mark here for 4 or 5 days. We had a lot of our generation, a lot of trauma from this. And I think, Baruch Hashem, that one Rebbe beat up a kid so bad he broke his bone. One thing is clear from halach and everything, you can't hit a kid hard. Another thing is clear from halacha, that maybe, and there's a law, there's laws. Legally, it's not okay to hit today. But my question that I think everybody should ask themselves is, why are so many people, 95% of people are so opposed and zero tolerance to any sort of hitting at home? Is it because of a goyish hashkafa and the law of the land? Or is it the right thing to do? That's what everybody should ask, because I know a lot of people say, absolutely, I never touch my kid, ever. And then you think to yourself, maybe that's a lot of the issues when a kid doesn't have, in the back of his mind, knowing, I know my father barely hit me, but I knew that if I overstepped the boundary, oy vavoy. I saw with my own eyes, I saw a 10-year-old kid punch his mother in the face. So what do? You give him a timeout for 5 minutes. You give him a nice timeout. I want you to go to your room for 5. Like a 3-year-old that jumps in the street in front of a car. But it's against the law. What?
would say explicitly 3-year-old.
That's in
Deserve but it's against the law. Now,
his mother is that's in
the parents deserve the fact. Now, when I was in Chicago, the biggest psychologist in Chicago at the time, and he used to write a lot, he should have a refuah shleima. I used to argue with him, and he told me, Revolba, and I said this a few times, Revolba said it's usher to hit a kid, it's usher, and he wrote it. So I showed him, Revolba. I brought the sefer to him, I gave him as a gift, and here it is, page Chaf Hey, and I'll show you here, I'll read it together with you. I love this, it's a great. Revolba said, never to hit a child. Okay, here. Omnam, here, Revolba writes, in Zriya ben Yechinuch on page Chaf Hey. Omnam yesh matzam charigim shalachas. There's some crazy situations that you could break the rule. L'mashal, I'll give you an example. Be'erev, hayeladim tzrichim lech lishon, at night when the kids have to go to sleep, there's a few kids at home, and they all yell, and the mother's very tired. In this crazy situation, a few, not one, a few smacks in the face, and then that's the situation that you're allowed to hit. Otherwise, if it's a normal situation, then you shouldn't. If you see your kid walking by, you shouldn't stop patching him in the face. But if it's emergency, what's an emergency? It's a night and the kids are screaming. Kids are screaming, you give a few patches in the face. This is your Revolba who said you shouldn't hit a kid at all. Shkoyach. Zu Ezra Rishonah. This is first aid. And any of the bells there, I'm not talking about this crazy situation. But avalasis min amaku shita zugish gisha muzika. Anyway, everybody take their own thing. Everybody listen. I have these crazy arguments with my daughter, who's you can't say no to a child, you can't hit a child. Halavai, the kid should grow up normal. I don't know. Zog the Gemara. Huh?
You said no to your daughter?
All right. Anyway, it's funny. Reb Moshe Feinstein himself, Reb Moshe Feinstein says, don't use a giant belt, but you should have a small little ritzua, he writes. A small ritzua, small belt. Okay.
That was already a long time ago.
Yeah, that means okay.
40, 50 years ago.
Okay, Nishtanu Adoris, that what? They say
Every once in a while, it's a good thing. Healthy.
Anyway, Rav Victor Miller writes, I don't know where he got. He says, in Italy, you'll see there's less crime because over there they still hit their children. So he writes, Rav Victor Miller. Anyway, Baita. Atkan. Baruch Hashem, I don't have children that age that I could patch. Once in a while, I patch my bchar, but he's 30, so it's okay. Zog the Gemara. The kari, a child who learns is great. The like kari, what about a child that spaces out like this? What do you do with him? Lehevi tzafta lechavrei, leave him in the cheder. Why? Because eventually he'll come to learn. Another pshat is, the Marsha says, because if you kick out a child that doesn't learn, the other children are going to want to follow him. It's not good for the other children. One of the people in the Chatzir wanted to be a mayal, uman, or a bloodletter. Vigardi, a weaver, and a rebbe. So here we have mefurish that you cannot be a rebbe. If you want to be a rebbe, you want to open up a school in the Chatzir, they could stop you. We're talking about a non-Jewish school that you could stop, or teaching non-Jewish subjects. Toshma. I have a great. Somebody sent me a picture of somebody opening up a special store in his backyard. This is in Monsey, New York. Rabbi say, take a look at this. This is gewaldic. He opened up a matzah bakery factory in his backyard. He took a bus and he told the newspaper, the interview, and he said, buses have to be fireproof, no? Because they have kids on them. So I figured I could build a matzah bakery in my bus, but the neighbors called the police because they smell, there's crazy smells coming out of there. And here we go. Here, there's a whole 20 workers in this factory in the bus in his backyard. So some of the Goyish neighbors didn't like it so much. They complained. They said it's a pasnish in the neighborhood to have a matzah bakery. It's what? It's a pas, not a pas, it's a matzah. That was fast. You could stop him. It's a kash on Rava. Rabbi say, we'll laugh later. We're talking about an non-Jewish school. Again, same thing. You have a house in the Chatzar Shutfim. Again, what's a Chatzar? What's a house? No, not this one. Everybody knows what a house and a Chatzar is, right? So, but I'll show it anyway. No. I thought, here. The bayis, the house, leads into the Chatzar, which leads into the Mava. You have a house over there. You're not allowed to rent it out to a moyal. I guess they used to do the brisim in his house. He wouldn't go to the shul. And not to bloodletter. A lot of people coming in and out to get their bloodlet. Soifer, Yehudi, and not to a teacher, a rebbe in cheder. Soifer Armai, and not to a non-Jewish teacher. So again, it's a kasha on Rav who says you could open up a school in your backyard. You can't stop it. Over here it says you can stop it. What does Soifer Masa mean? Rabbi say, Soifer Masa. Check this out. Right now, on Daf Chof Aleph, Amud Aleph, Rashi says it means the one in charge of all the other Rabbeim. I call them in the hell of a cheder. What's interesting is that on Amud Beis it says something completely different. It means a Soifer. And what's very interesting is that from Bava Basra, at the end of Bava Basra, we just learned it means a barber. Remember, we were talking about it's a gingy. So, on our daf, he says two different pshatim. From Rabbi Shua on, you don't bring a child from one city to another city. You don't make him travel, but you can bring him from one shul to another. And if there's a river between to get to the shul wherever he has to go, You don't bring him over the river. Why? He could fall into the river and die. And if there's a bridge here, let me show you a bridge real quickly. This is a bridge from Italy. I don't recommend it unless you love heights. At a certain point, this is over 1,000 feet above the ground in Italy. It's basically, it stretches from one Alp to the other, from one mountain to the other. It's crazy situation. Then when the big gust of wind came, we all started flying this way and that way.
Is it sound?
There is sound.
You don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me. It's in Hebrew.
Screaming.
That's my Lazi. Today he's 18 years old. That little kid in front of me. Very pachad pchadim. Anyway, so I just figured if you have one of those, don't bring your kids to cheder on it. They can fall off, and it's not a good situation to fall 1,000 feet. V'ike gamla, but if there's a piece of wood, loy mamtinon. So ike titayra, no, it says here, if there's a bridge, you do. Mamtinon. V'ike gamla, but if there's a piece of wood, loy mamtinon. Peleplaim, the Belzer showed me a Chuvas Goinim that says, Goinim, before the Rishonim say, the reason why his name is Yeshua ben Gamla is because of this line in the Gemara. V'ike Gamla, if there's a piece of wood. So his name is not Yeshua, but his father wasn't Gamla. He's the author of Gamla. He brought this halacha that if there's a piece of wood, you don't bring a kid to, if Ahron said it, I'd say, okay, very good. But the Goinim say it. V'amarava. Sach makri dardiki esrim echamshe yunuke. I'll start off saying that my son, right now, he's down. Some kids left at school. He's down to 35 kids in his class. He was up to 40-something. Is that okay? Not okay. I don't think it's okay anyway. But what does the Gemara say? To have 40 kids in one Rebbe. One Rebbe, 40 kids in a class. Somebody just told me yesterday, I forgot who, somebody came over to me that in his, proper school, maybe even in America, 40 kids, I don't remember who it was. So over here it says 25 kids. Taisus says it's the minimum. In order to force a city to pay for a Rebbe, you need 25 kids. Most Rishonim learn differently that it's the maximum you could have as a Rebbe. And the Pesach Shuvah says, in fact, that in our generation, and that's the Pesach Shuvah, he says it goes by the generation. The max should be 10. 10 kids per class. That's what he says in his generation. Depends on the situation and where you are and what kind of kids. And if you have 50 kids, you need 2 Rabbeim. And if there's only 40, you give him a helper. Well, not a substitute. What do they call it? Assistant Rebbe. And you pay this assistant Rebbe from the city funds. This Rebbe that teaches, and the other Rebbe teaches much more. He only accomplishes one Chumash Bereishis, and the other guy can teach Chumash Bereishis and Shmais. You don't get rid of him. Why? The second Rebbe will be about Gaiva. Look at me, they got rid of this guy, and I'm instead, and then he'll do even less than the first one. Rav Dimi says, no, he'll teach even better. Why? When you have jealousy, you learn more. Rabbi, we have a little bit of a brand new video of Kinas Soifrim Tar B'Chachma, just to give you a lot of, not you guys, but sometimes you notice that when you're on a plane and you want to be careful, Shmir Sanai, whatever, but once in a while you take a little peek to your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? So based on this idea of looking over to your neighbor, here's Kinas Soifrim Tar B'Chachma. This guy's watching his movie, and this guy's watching the daf. And he's a shtickle jealous. He keeps on. Kinas Soifrim Tar B'Chachma. That's the. You learn Torah, you give kinna to somebody else. The other guy also wants to learn Torah. The other guy also wants to finish shots. 2 Rabbeim. Which one should you hire? The guy. So when you just read it, you have to be careful because this is not the right way to understand it. Chadgaris, he teaches v'leidayik. What does v'leidayik mean? The simple meaning means you don't teach it well. Chas v'shalom. If you don't teach well, you kick the guy out immediately. What it means is you don't make sure that the kids know it well. You don't go over with the children. The other one is very, very careful that the children know everything, but he goes very slow. Who should be the Rebbe? You put the one who teaches a lot, but it's not so careful what the kids know. All the mistakes will iron themselves out eventually. No. You give the guy that's very careful what the kids learn. Doesn't matter how much they learn. Shabeshta kivin da Allah. Once there's a mistake, says the Gemara, a very famous Mordecai story. Yisroel Yoav was there killing out all the Edoimis, but only Kol Zocher, only the males, and he left all the females. He went to David, Amarle, my taima avatachi. Why is it that you left all the nekevas? Amarle d'chsiv timcha zechara molek. What a problem! He read the pasuk wrong. He thought it said in the pasuk you should only get rid of the zcharim and not the nekevas. He's there for 6 months. One little ice, he messed up. He should have wiped everybody out. Omerle vanan zeicher karina. What are you talking about? Says David. We don't read it like that. We read zeicher. No remembrance. No zeicher of them. Nothing should be left of them. Omerle ano zechara kruin. I only recall. I remember my Rebbe teaching me Zachar.
What do you say Mayav if you're talking about Malek?
Huh?
If you're talking about Malek, why do you say Mayav before?
No, his name is Yoav.
No.
Yoav, Edom, it said. Edom. Edom is Amalek. The cover of Amalek. Ozal Shaila the Rabbi, he went to his Rebbe and asked him, Omerlei, Heicha Krisen, how did you teach us? Omerlei, Zecher. He said the way we say it. Shokal Safsiro the Miktale, he took out a sword, he wanted to kill him. Omerlei Amai, why are you killing me? Omerlei Dechsiv, Arur, you're cursed. Oisem Melechas Hashem Remiyah. When you do Hashem's job negligently, which you did, you weren't careful to make sure that I, the Talmud, know how to read it correctly. I thought it's Zachar. Omerlei, Shafkilau Gavra, the Lekim Barer. So it says in the pasuk, let me be a curse. You don't have to take my head off. I'll live my life in a curse. Amalei ksiv, I have a problem. It says the person who prevents bloodshed is going to be cursed. I have to kill you. Some say he killed his own Rebbe. A Peladic thing here. So Nachamal, he had a tain on him, and because of this thing, he made a mistake. He didn't kill the Nekevas. I don't understand exactly. To me, I had a simple kasha, but I think the Marsha might be addressing it in a way. Didn't he go to Shul? Yoav, he didn't hear Zecher Amalek in Shul. The Chazan says nice and slow. That could be that once you have a mistake that you're ingrained in, you repeat the mistake. I see a lot of people in davening, you hear them saying mamish, real mistakes. They don't know it says in the Siddur and everybody says it. Once it becomes ingrained.
Didn't he know what Shul did?
Oh. That's the Marshal's kasha. The Marshal asks what Rav Nachman is asking. He knows that you have to wipe everybody out. So he's tainas because, and that answers the other question. He says because it says Edom. He wasn't fighting Amalek. He thought maybe this is only a Durabanan and this. The Torah was Amalek. I'm Edom. Maybe I don't have to. And that's where the mistakes occurred. And Lamaisa, the Turning of the Daf is sponsored by LifeShare Community Protecting Families Today before tomorrow's unexpected loss. We have to say the Brisker joke. The Brisker said that he heard there's somebody that hears Zachar, Parsha Zachar 32 times. So he says, I'm a shugana, 17 times is enough. Yeah. You want to hear, Ashi? A guy came over to me in Shul. He said, lately, your jokes are very flat. Kacha. He's got to pick it up. Omalei. Fine. Makri Yenuka. Listen to this. Murray the good thing. Makri Yenuka. Somebody who teaches children. We had this in Bava Basra. Shatala. A person who plants vines. The vineyard. Tabacha. A butcher. Vumana. And the person who lets blood. These are things that if you mess up, you kill the person. You mess up being a Rebbe, you harm the child. V'sofar masa. And over here, Rashi says sofar masa means a sofer. You write the wrong type of get, you do the wrong thing, you mess up. Kulam kemusrim v'ayim ninu. They're all warned, pre-warned. You don't have to warn them. Klal the milsa, kol pseda de lehadar. Anything that you do you can't take it back. It's a terrible loss. Musra v'aymedu, it's as if you warned them. Says Taisus, and we said it over there as well. The kashalari, what's the big deal? Let's say you teach a kid the wrong pshat and chumash. Rava holds, it'll iron itself out. So why is this guy such a bad guy, this Rebbe? The harava gufei yislei le'el d'shabesh ne'meilen afka. V'aymeri, You know why? That 10 seconds of a mistake is bittul torah. And that hour, that minute, ein yicholim lahachzir loilam. Crazy taisvus. Remember this taisvus. You give bittul torah to a child for 1 minute, you can never take that back. There's no way. It's movis layuchal iskain. You can't take that back. Which we have to say because the heilige Remeir Shapiro that we're sitting here in his schus, his mother was waiting for the Rebbe, famous story, we have to say it again. Snowy day, the Rebbe didn't show up, so the mother burst out crying. She says, Mama, why are you crying? He's going to come tomorrow. She said, no, he'll come tomorrow. But today he's not coming, and today is a wasted day. And that's where Remeir Shapiro chapped the idea of Daf Yomi that you have to learn every single day. Because a day, that 1 day that you don't learn, you'll never get back. This guy, this Mavui man, he puts a mill in the middle of the Mavui. He opens up a pizza store and his friend comes and opens up a pizza store next to him. He could say, you're masig vul. You're harming my parnasa. The famous Maisa in the Munu B'tachan. Somebody sent me more, but I didn't have time to go through. The Chazanish says in the Munu B'tachan, he says there was a printer who had a print shop, and all of a sudden, a guy opens up a print shop across the street from him. So he goes, knocks on his door, he says, listen, do you know where to get paper and ink? Let me get you the best supplier. You know how to do this? You know who could fix your machines? Here, let me give you. So the guy's son says, Tati, I don't understand. You Meshuggah? He wants to open up, you don't want to bring him to the Torah. You're going to go help him? He says, no. We believe that a parnasa comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's Nigzar Rosh Hashanah, exactly how I'm going to get. This guy can't take away from me 1 dime. The only thing this guy could do is help me. Take away some of my clients. Take off the workload, because I'm going to get that money anyway. So let him help me. Here's the paper, here's the ink, here's all the stuff. Says the Chazanish, he brings this Gemara, and he says, it says, Kopaskis l'chayusi. He says, you have to make your ishtadlus. But you have to believe and understand that nobody can hurt your parnasa. So maybe it's a raya. If I put out a net here, you cannot put a net next to me. Why? You have to go all the way to where a fish could swim, how far a fish can run. Vikama, Omarav Baravuna ad Parsa. I was shocked yesterday, the amount that the article says is almost 2.5 miles away. Crazy distance, 5 kilometers. 8,000 amma, whatever that is. 16,000 feet. Do the math. So is this a raya that I have to go so far away that I can't open up a pizza store? I can't even put a net. No, fish are different. Shani dogim the yohavi siyara. How do you catch a fish? You put food in there. The fish come to the food. So once they come to the food, they're like yours. You're already trapped and they're already yours. You're going to go after he takes your food and go take it away. Now you're a ganav. This is very interesting questions, especially here in Eretz Yisrael. I put up a bus stop. Better than that. A guy puts out a sign making a trip to Miron. Monday morning, 9 o'clock, come bus here on this and this corner. Comes the chapper, he brings his own bus, 8:55, takes all the people. Happens. Yom V'Laylos, the Eged, let's say it's a private company, which it is right now, these are private companies, they put a bus stop. Comes a guy in a van, says, hey, Yerushalayim, 22 shekel. Mutter aser. So a lot of poskim say it's aser, because they already brought the fish to them. Especially with the thing. Rav Shteiman says a zog, but the poskim say not like him. He says, a mensch is nishkein fish. You're not a fish. You have your bchira, you can go. What do you mean you're in a trap? But the others say, no, since I spent money to bring you here to this makom, it's not a fish, but okay. So Ayin Sham, before you do Asogas Gvul, you should check it out.
You don't need to come early.
It's not Rabbi Yehuda Omer, and this is a little bit of a problem in all Shas. If you say like a Yachid, like Rabbi Yehuda, it's a problem. It's not. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, the famous Rabbi Yehuda, you're not allowed to give out candy to children in a store because you're taking away the parnas from the other stores. You make everybody come to you. The Chacham who are the majority, they say it's mutter. Now you say it's aser, you hold like Rabbi Yehuda, and that's a problem. I feel that Rabbanan, no, we could say that Rabbanan also hold like us. I can't believe Rabbanan later Rabbi Yehuda Hassam. Why do they say that you're allowed to give candy to children? You're giving out these kernels of wheat. I have better stuff. I'll give out the almonds. You give out chocolate. I give out lollipops. Whatever it is. But when I open up a business in my mother and you come right next to me and open up another business, you're ruining my parnasa. What do you mean I should do something else? I can open up a store right next to my friend's store and a bathhouse next to his. You can't do anything about it. I'm doing it in my property. This is Gemara Tanai. In fact, it's a machlokes Tanai. The Sanyo. I can force you that you don't belong in my mother. You come from another place, as Rashi. You're not allowed to be a tailor in my mother. You can't be. Well, we said that you could be open up a cheder wherever you want. So we must be talking about a non-Jewish cheder or a school. So you can't open up any business. But if you're my neighbor, you could open up whatever you want. Oh, so Rabbi Shimon Gamliel is the one that says, I can tell my neighbor, you cannot open up. So Nachamal, you said in the beginning of the shir. So here we have a machlokes Tanai. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, if I'm a neighbor, you cannot open up next to me. The Tanna Kama says, if you're a neighbor, I can open up a pizza store right next to you because I live here. Okay. So Nachamal, we have three situations. You live in this strip of Chatzar, we can both open up the same store. You can't stop me. You live in another city, I can stop you 100%. The big question is, what if you live one block over? Should we have to stop here? It's too late. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.